Welcome back, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is Real Big Ten Football Talk +1 with Chris. I am Chris. This is week 11 of the 2018 college football season, and this is my second video of the week. And without further ado, let's look at the matchup for this particular episode. This is Wisconsin sitting at 6-3, 4-2 in Big Ten play, going to Happy Valley to face the 20th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, sitting at 6-3, 3-3 in Big Ten play. These two don't really play each other a whole lot. I was kind of surprised by this. They have been in the Big Ten for a number of years now, but as we'll look at later, they've only played each other 18 times in total. The last played each other in 2016 for the Big Ten Championship, so they have had high-profile matchups between each other. Looking at who these two teams have played, Wisconsin, you have had a difficult season to say the least. I do believe teams are finally starting to figure out your offense, which is, hint, hint, you run the ball a lot. But you've done well against teams that have lackluster running defenses, like the likes of Western Kentucky, New Mexico, Iowa, which was a good win, Nebraska, which, again, Husker fans from last episode, I don't mean to pick on your team, but again, you are 2-6 right now. So I can't really say it was a real impressive victory, considering you did give up 24 points, even though you did score 41 on offense. Michigan, that was the first real bad loss that you had. BYU wasn't a good loss either, but a lot of people, including myself, thought, okay, maybe it was just a trap game, whatever. You're looking forward to Iowa the next week. Maybe you lost some focus. It was just a fluke, whatever. Then you went into Ann Arbor that fateful night to face a very resurgent, very tough, very powerful Michigan Wolverines team, and that Michigan Wolverine team demolished you and showcased the weaknesses that you have in the passing game. But in my opinion, that night, I do believe you did get away from the run a little bit early, and it did cost you, because I thought the running game looked decent at first. For whatever reason, you decided to pass more, and that was your undoing. Hornibrook looked horrible in that game, horribly inaccurate, kept missing wide open targets. I think even at one point he missed a short pass in the flat to try to give his offense a little bit of breathing room and couldn't even complete that. He looked out of sorts, Michigan looked dominant, and Wisconsin looked weak. The next week against Illinois, you still give up 20 points to a comparatively weak Illini team. You scored 49, that's great, but you give up 20 points. You can't say that was a great win. And then at Northwestern, the week after that, you lost 31-17. Not a bad loss. Northwestern is a good team, and you did put up 17 points, but you give up 31 to a team that isn't real dominant, offensively speaking, in the Wildcats. Last week, Rutgers, you did win 31-17, but as we'll look in a minute, you did struggle in that game to really stop the Rutgers offense, and Rutgers is 1-6 or 7, one of the two. They're also not a good team. A Big Ten team, regardless, has not been a very good year for the Rutgers. For Penn State, you started out great, beating App State 45-38, and App State has only lost one this year, or two this year, so a good win. At Pitt, 51-6, again, not bad. They're 5-4 right now. Kent State, a good dominant victory, 63-10. At Illinois, 63-24. Again, you did give up 24 points to a weak Illini offense. Against Ohio State, you did give up 26 or 27 points. You had, honestly, that game could have won by either team. You kind of got unlucky. That's why I can't give it a red loss. It was a good, hard-fought game, but you did lose. And then you didn't do any better against Michigan State. You had every opportunity to win that game, and you could not close the door in the fourth quarter, and Michigan State made you pay for it. That was a bad loss to an unranked Michigan State team, after you had already been reeling against Ohio State. The next week, Indiana, you won, but it wasn't great, 33-28. Again, Indiana, not a bad team, but not a great offensive juggernaut, and you give up 28 points to a comparatively weak offense in the Hoosiers. The next week, you did beat a very resurgent number 18th ranked Iowa Hawkeye team at home, but still a good 30-24 victory. And then last weekend, against number 5th ranked Michigan Wolverines in Ann Arbor again, you got demolished 42-7 in that game. Wasn't even a close game, ladies and gentlemen. That was horrible. I could not believe the lack of offense you showed in that game and lack of defense you showed in that game. That was just horrible. Looking at Wisconsin, I'm not going to say you had a recent marquee win because you really haven't, to be honest with you. The only team you've beaten that was really decent was Iowa, and that was back in week 4 or 5, whichever one it was. I can't say this was a good win because it wasn't. Looking at what you've given up against that game with the Rutgers. You give up 47.3% on third down for a team that struggles in every aspect of the game. You give up 261 passing yards. You gave up a passing touchdown. You did not pick off the ball once. In fact, you didn't force any turnovers. You held Rutgers to 28 minutes and 9 seconds of time of possession. That was good. Only 72 yards rushing. You didn't allow great accuracy in the passing game at 20 of 39 passing for the Rutgers quarterbacks. You did go up 333 total yards, though, against a team that's not, again, very good on any aspect of the game. But you did force them to only 13 first downs. Not bad. Offensively speaking, Wisconsin, you did struggle. You did turn the ball over twice, and you had no passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions thrown for Alex Hornibrook. And you did only went for 12 of 23 passing for 156 yards. Rushing, you were dominant, of course, against a very weak defense. Not impressive, but 317 yards, that is good against really anybody, I guess. So I will give you the green on that. First downs, 26, pretty good. Third down efficiency, 66.6%. 8 of 12, not bad. But, again, you're facing the Rutgers. You did hold on to the ball for 31 minutes and 51 seconds. You only had 4 penalties for 19 yards. 473 total yards of offense. Pretty good. But it was against Rutgers. The team you're facing this week is not Rutgers. And you're not at home. Wisconsin, there is cause for concern here. But Penn State, you also have your own problems. You did beat Iowa last week. Iowa could have beaten you they had every opportunity to win, but you did close the door in the fourth quarter. Good on you. First downs, you did give up 23 first downs, and you did allow Iowa to hold on to the ball for 35 minutes and 18 seconds. It's a long time for your defense to be on the field. You are lucky you won. You did force 2 turnovers. That's good. Held Iowa to 350 total yards, but they're not a great offense, so cause for concern. You also give up 215 passing yards, 135 rushing yards. But you did hold Iowa's quarterbacks to 19 of 50 on passing for no touchdowns and 2 picks. Quite impressive. And you did hold Iowa to only 35% on third down, 7 of 20. But again, you did give up 23 first downs, and your defense was on the field for a long time. What do you do on offense? Again, you're horrible on third down at 28.5%, 4 of 14, only 194 yards to the air and only 118 yards on the ground. You only acquired 16 first downs on offense. You're only at 13 of 29 passing collectively. That is horrible, under 50% passing. And you had 1 passing touchdown to 1 interception thrown. You're facing a good defense. Don't get me wrong. Iowa is a good defense and they're well coached. Penn State, you did commit 6 penalties, but only 47 yards, so it didn't hurt you horribly. But some of those penalties were ill-timed, as are most penalties that can be ill-timed. They can kill drives or can extend drives. I've said this countless times over on this show in the past. But your offense did give up 2 turnovers yourselves. So, Penn State, cause for concern for you as well. You are facing a defense this week that's similar to Iowa's defense, so, again, you may have your hands full. Looking forward at how these two teams have looked the last 5 meetings. Like I said, 2016 Big Ten Championship. Penn State did beat Wisconsin 38-31. An impressive victory. 2013, Penn State did beat Wisconsin again, 31-24. 2012, Penn State beat Wisconsin again in overtime, 24-21. And that was during the height of the Jerry Sandusky scandal. So that was impressive. You were able to beat Wisconsin during that time. Boy. Whoops. 2011, I apologize. That was not Penn State playing themselves. That was Wisconsin beating Penn State 45-7 in Madison. And in 2008, Wisconsin did get their tails blown out by Penn State 48-7, but that was in 2008. That was still Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions. And I believe that might have been Brent Bielema's last year. I can't swear to it, though. Looking at offense in general, and I have changed up the structure a little bit of the... Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I've changed up the structure a little bit in the slides this week. I hope you would enjoy it. I'm trying to experiment a little bit in just trying to get a good flow of information to you without many breaks in the action. Looking at teams' offensive efficiency, Wisconsin has held onto the ball for 32 minutes on average. Not bad. Penn State 27, that is horrible. On average, your defense is on the field for 33 minutes on average. That's bad, that's troubling, and that's why you've struggled. Because you can't convert on third down. For Wisconsin, 447.2 total yards of offense. That's 34th nationally. Not bad until we look at your passing stats. Later on, we'll see how much of a one-sided team you are. But third down efficiency, you are at 45.2%. That is 23rd nationally. Quite impressive. Plus 3 turnover margin. That is 42nd nationally. Not bad. Again, like I always say, if you can be at a 1 or above, you're doing something right as far as your offensive efficiency. For Penn State, 429.1 yards of total offense per game. That is 49th nationally. Not bad. Where you do struggle at is on third down and turnover margin. You're at 34.2% third down efficiency. That is 110th nationally. I saw that Ohio State game. You looked horrible on third down in that game, and that is what cost you. Turnover margin, you're at -1. That is 75th nationally. Again, cause for concern, Penn State. Looking at red zone offensive efficiency, Wisconsin, quite horrible at your attempts. You're only getting inside the 23.4 times per game. That is 71st nationally. But once you get inside the 20, you've done well in your attempts. 76.4% touchdown percentage and 94.1% scoring in general. That is 9th nationally. Not bad, but you do need to get more opportunities inside the 20, Wisconsin. Penn State, not bad at 4.1 red zone scoring attempts per game. That is 34th nationally. 81% red zone touchdown percentage. That is excellent. Red zone scoring percentage, 94.6%. That is 8th nationally. Both teams, you do well once you get inside the 20. But for these two teams, they do struggle a bit to get inside the 20. That can also be cause for concern moving forward. Offensive scoring efficiencies will continue. We're looking at the Wisconsin Badgers Spurs at 31 points per game. That is 40th nationally. First quarter, you do struggle out of the gates, Wisconsin, at 5.3 points. That is 78th nationally. But you do turn it up when you get in the fourth quarter at 9.2 points per game. That is 21st nationally. Penn State, you do well scoring the football at 37.2 points per game. That is 16th nationally. First quarter, you come out a little bit sloppy at 7.3 points. That is 45th nationally. Fourth quarter, both teams turn it up. For Penn State, you are scoring on average 13 points in the fourth. That is 2nd nationally. In fact, in my opinion, that's what helped you win last week against Iowa. You are good at scoring in the fourth. Passing offensive efficiency, we are looking at why these two teams have struggled, because these two teams are more oriented on the run, but Wisconsin more than Penn State, as we see. Completion percentage for Wisconsin, 58.3%. That is 81st nationally. Passing per game, 174.2 yards per game. That's 110th nationally. You have to be able to rely more on Alex Hornibrook to be more efficient in the passing game to be able to win these big games, Wisconsin. You have not been able to, and that's why you've lost almost all of these big games. Honestly, the only team that you have beaten that's decent has been Iowa so far. In dominant fashion, I should say. Sacks allowed per game, 1.4. That is 33rd nationally for Wisconsin. Not bad. So Hornibrook isn't getting hit that often. And Hornibrook has only thrown 8 picks. Again, not horrible. That's about 1 per game. A little bit less than 1 per game. Not bad. Penn State, 53.5% completion percentage. That is 113th nationally. Trace McSorley, you've got to start hitting your passes to somebody in your uniform, I should say. You need to start completing more passes. Passing per game, 221.2. That is 79th nationally. Sacks allowed per game, 2.3 for Penn State. That is 76th nationally. Again, cause for concern. Trace McSorley gets hit far too often, and it can cause him to throw bad passes. Incompletions mostly because he's been lucky. He's only thrown 9 picks this year. It's about 1 per game. Not great, but not horrible. Team passing defensive efficiency. Penn State's not bad. Wisconsin needs to work on it. Completion percentage allowed, 56.47%. That is 31st nationally for the Badgers. Not bad. Sacks per game, that is where you struggle at 1.3. That's 114th nationally, Wisconsin. Gotta do a better job of getting to the quarterback. Interceptions gained, 10. That is 25th nationally. Quite impressive. Passing yards allowed per game, 193.3. That is 30th nationally. Not horrible. For Penn State, you are only allowing 54.39% of the passes thrown against you to be completed. That is 19th nationally. Again, quite impressive. Sacks per game, 3.1. That is 17th nationally. That is impressive. That is getting at the quarterback. But Penn State, your struggles have been against the run, which we'll look at in a little bit. Interceptions gained, 9. That is 34th nationally. Again, not bad. Passing yards allowed per game, 216.3 yards. That is 51st nationally. A little bit of a caution red, or not a red flag, but a yellow flag, I should say. That is cause for concern. You need to get those passing yards allowed down a little bit. But you're not passing a passing juggernaut of a team, obviously. So, that may not come back to bite you in this particular game, Penn State. Rushing splits, like we said, in Wisconsin, as we can look back in history, even back in the 90s when I started watching football and started noticing Wisconsin. They always had good runners. Ron Dane is the first one that comes to my mind, and I'm sure it does for a lot of you folks out there that are around my age. Brooks Bollinger was the quarterback that a lot of people don't talk about. That was the quarterback during those years that Wisconsin was so dominant, going to all those Rose Bowls with Ron Dane running the ball. But Brooks Bollinger was a good game manager. He didn't turn the ball over, and he did complete good, short, intermediate passes. He wouldn't throw your brains out, but he would annoy you and make you take some attention away from Ron Dane, and that's where Ron Dane would then excel. This Wisconsin team doesn't have that in Alex Hornibrook, and that's why they've struggled against teams that have a good, decent running defense. Wisconsin, 273 yards per game on average. That is 4th nationally. Again, like I said, no big shock. It is Wisconsin. But total rushing yards allowed, that is surprising for me because they have also been a good running defensive team. Not so much this year, 159.4 yards allowed per game. That is 62nd nationally. Penn State, that is where your offense does excel the most at 207.9 yards per game on the ground. That is 34th nationally. Not bad, but with not a great passing attack, your offense has struggled. And rushing yards allowed, this does scare me a little bit. Penn State, you are a bad running defense at 172.2 yards allowed per game. That is 78th nationally. But how much did that number rise from the Michigan game last week with a team that is very good on the ground? You never know. But Wisconsin, as we saw, have seen this year, have still struggled against good quality opponents. Total defensive splits. Penn State has looked impressive. Wisconsin has struggled in areas. Wisconsin has gained 14 turnovers this year. It's 54th nationally. Total defense for Wisconsin, 397.3 yards per game given up. That is 69th nationally. Not good. Third down percentage allowed per game, pretty good at 32.3% allowed per game. That is 17th nationally. Very impressive, Wisconsin. You do a good job of forcing 3 and outs. And you're facing a bad third down offensive team in Penn State anyway, so that number may even go down. For Penn State, total turnovers gained 17. That is 23rd nationally. Total defense, 325.1 yards per game given up. That is 22nd nationally. Impressive. Third down percentage allowed per game, 31.8%. That is 13th nationally. If only your offense was as dominant on third downs, your defense, you probably would be saying at a better record than you are right now. At the very least, you'd probably be saying at 7-2 versus 6-3. Because you would have beaten Ohio State if you could have gotten more third down conversions. But we won't talk about that. Moving forward, defensive scoring efficiency. Wisconsin has done quite well, only allowing 20.9 points per game. That is 22nd nationally in the first quarter. Wisconsin's defense does come out firing off on all cylinders and only giving up 2.3 points per game in the first quarter. That is 4th nationally. In the fourth quarter, they struggle a little bit, and they have kept the door open for some teams to come back and beat them, giving up 6.4 points per game on average in the fourth. That is 54th nationally. Penn State scoring defense, you have allowed far too many points this year in all aspects. 24.4 points per game, that is 43rd nationally. Not horrible, but you haven't played a whole lot of great competition, so that number should be lower than it is, so that is cause for concern. First quarter scoring allowed per game, that is 7 points, that is 75th nationally. Fourth quarter even worse at 8.4 points allowed per game, that is 104th nationally. Penn State, you have to do a better job of shutting the door in the fourth. That's why you lost to Michigan State, and that's honestly why you lost to Ohio State. Shoot, you could be sitting at 6-1 right now. I mean, yeah, 6-1. 8-1 right now. My apologies. That would not have helped you against Michigan. You just got destroyed. But closing the door in the fourth would have helped you to beat Michigan State and Ohio State. Neat little tidbits. Teams did play each other for the first time in 1953. Wisconsin did win that matchup in Madison 20-0. As we talked about earlier, the two teams did last play each other for the Big Ten championship. And honestly, this could help determine that this year. Wisconsin wins this game, it will help them in their pursuit of getting back to the Big Ten championship as the West's representative. But Penn State did win that matchup 38-31. This is actually the first matchup I've seen where the two teams were equal in their all-time record against each other, 9-9-0. Penn State's all-time win-loss tie record is 884, 390, and 42. A lot of those 800 wins came at the hands of Joe Paterno's era. Quite an impressive historical team in Penn State. For Wisconsin, not bad at 703 and 493 and 53. But we've talked about this earlier in the year. Wisconsin has not been a historically dominant team. Really, they've really rose to more dominance in the 90s under, Barry Alvarez. Forgot his name for a second. I apologize, Badger faithful. Keys to the game for both teams. Wisconsin, what do you have to do? You need to use short to intermediate passing when the running game starts to struggle, like you didn't do against Michigan, because you need to also complete those short to intermediate passing attack. But you can't give up on the run too early, like you did against Michigan. Penn State has been awful on third down. You have to take advantage of that and force them to consistent 3-and-outs. This Wisconsin, you also have to force Trace McSorley to win the game with his arm only, because you can also get outside the pocket and run. You have to keep him inside that pocket and force him to make tough throws from within it. And for Wisconsin, you need to convert on third down to keep your drives alive and keep that Penn State defense on the field. Penn State, what do you have to do? You have to convert on third down. Develop a balanced offensive attack. You have to establish your running game early against a mediocre running defense. You have to shut down Wisconsin's dominant running attack, which you haven't done very well this year as far as stopping the run. You've got to step up and stop this running attack early to give yourself a chance and force Hornibrook to beat you. Hint, hint, he didn't do very well against Michigan when he was forced to win the game. And you have to close the door in the fourth quarter. You have to keep your foot on the gas and keep attacking on offense up until the end. You are at home. You have to use that momentum to your advantage and make Wisconsin feel unwelcome. You cannot be good, gracious, guests. Good gracious hosts. You have to be dominant from game start to end and can't give Wisconsin a chance or they can come back and beat you. Penn State, you have the more balanced, stronger offense. You need to take advantage of that. Now, who to pick? Just like the Ohio State-Michigan State game, this is a tough one to pick. But it wasn't as tough for me, honestly. Looking at what Wisconsin's done, what has Penn State done? Wisconsin has struggled against every quality opponent they played against outside of Iowa. Honestly, Penn State has for the most part, although they had every opportunity to beat Ohio State and Michigan State, so I have to think of those games when I'm making this decision. And I do believe Penn State will win this game 24-10. I don't believe Wisconsin is going to be able to put up much of a fight. I think they're still reeling. I think they're still struggling. They did not do well against Rutgers last week. Yeah, maybe they might have been looking past them a little bit. I don't think so. I think they give up far too many yards against a weak, just bad Rutgers team. I think Penn State is definitely the better opponent in this game. I think they're more of a balanced offense. Not a great running defense, but I think their running defense will come in enough. I think Wisconsin will abandon the run early again. And I don't think Alex Hornibrook's going to beat this Penn State Nittany Lion team. So I do have Penn State winning this game by 2 touchdowns, 24-10. Score may be a little bit different, but I don't believe Penn State's going to give up many points to such a one-sided offense, which Wisconsin is. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. It does help my channel grow. I do appreciate the love you have given so far. And if you did not like this video or my content, please hit the thumbs down. Let me know in the comment section why you did not enjoy it. Also, please comment if you liked this video. Let me know what I'm doing right so I can continue to do that. How do you like the structure of this new format? Did you enjoy it? Do you want me to go back to the old ways of doing it? Did it flow better for you? And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought tonight. Again, thank you for watching. Enjoy the games this week. And until next time, guys and gals.